it's like I said, it's a difficult one to do. When you're in this kind of position like Peter Weening are right now, you got to just focus on what you're doing, focus on your power output. Most of these guys have got the power meter with them. You've got to just get on with the job at hand and try not to think so much about what your legs are telling you. It's the famous Gendt quote there, "Shut up, legs." That's kind of where where Peter Weening is at now. But I think Thomas de Gendt is actually seeing the cars in front of him, the cars behind Peter Weening, and that's going to motivate him now to try and get back on terms with Peter.
Well, just for those of you at home who were following us earlier on today, Hugh Carthy is in the main body of the chasers. He's not that far behind Dan Martin, unless I'm completely mistaken, but I believe it is he within that group. And well done to the young man. Fantastic. 3Ks remaining then. It's much less than that. In fact, he's going to be approaching the 2 kilometre to go banner fairly soon. Now, you'll know when 2Ks arrive because there's a horrible hairpin he's got to take before he gets a little bit of respite in the run to about 1.5 Ks to go. And then there's a series of turns, including a nasty one right at the very end. And this day might... Oh, look! There is de Gendt. I'm just seeing him with the lights at the side of the road. De Gendt has got Weening within his sights and he's starting to close the gap. Thomas de Gendt is striking out. He loves a bit of snow, quite clearly. 2 kilometres to go. My goodness, the flaring lights, they're pulling these cars single file to allow de Gendt room to come through. The motorcycle also stops here, and Weening must surely know he's got no automotive company. No, he's got a man who's determined, and he's chasing him down now with less than 2 kilometres to go.
And the big guns are going. Tejay van Garderen going off the front here now.
Contador, Quintana, they're all here. They want a piece of this day. Richie Porte just staying behind for the time being, but Tejay goes.
And this is dangerous now. You can't let Tejay get this big a gap because he's one of these guys that just find the rhythm, and that's what he does best on the climbing, is just set that high pace and just keep that going for a long period of time. So they need to make that move now and close the gap down on Tejay van Garderen.
Just looking back, and it's Alberto Contador that decides to engage in the pursuit. He just rolls around the corner, but in so doing he's still got Dan Martin for company. Quintana likewise. Contador's weaving all over the road as well, trying to shake them, which he's given to do, and it's Quintana that stays with him for the time being. Right now Tejay though has a look on the hairpin. He gets a chance to have a reasonable look, and there it is, Contador with Quintana and then Dan Martin, that trio of talent chasing on. Oh, and here it is, heartbreak for Peter Weening and joy for de Gendt if he can keep this going. Now, will he just sit in, or will he sail straight by and break the heart? Don't forget, he's only got about 1,500 metres to go. The
move here is just to attack straight away, and that's what he does.
Yes, just accelerates past, and Weening's head goes straight down. He'll try his best to retrieve the situation, but de Gendt kicks on. Big hairpin coming up, and then it's going to be that push to the line, but he looks very good for this.
He's certainly looking very strong indeed, and Peter Weening is not going to have much to respond to that little move with. You don't need much of an attack when you're catching someone like that. It's just getting out of the saddle ever so slightly and just picking up by half a kilometre or so, and that's all that's needed when you have someone who's been sitting on the limit for 16 kilometres of this climb.
Well, he did it, as we said, on the Stelvio, the big climb of the Giro d'Italia 2012. It was, to his mind, the greatest win of his career, despite the fact taking a couple of stages on the Port Ainé. Look at this, it's Richie Porte that goes for it. He distances everybody. Contador tries to stay with him. I said Richie Porte had got something today. Will he be the leader's jersey? Contador is feeling fresh, he says, in a very good place at this time of the year. Porte goes, Contador follows, Quintana's in the wake, no sign of anyone like Aru, and Dan Martin is just starting to fade at the moment. Further down you see a couple of guys from Callendale, one of which is Oran. Out front it's this man eating into the mountain. It says 2Ks, we know there's less than that right now. He's taken a hairpin and he is sailing in. I think the ticket is wrong. Let's hope for his sake it is, because this is the end of what has been a huge day. It was supposed to be the decider. Thomas de Gendt has done another great run here today. Well, starting off at the top of the day with his intentions declared, and Lotto Soudal will be absolutely delighted by this effort by him. He really is an outstanding talent. We know that. Started the day nearly 20 minutes down, so it's of no consequence as far as the overall concerned. This is, though, however, Tejay's been found, and it's Contador that's wound him in with Quintana right there, and there is Richie Porte as well. Goodness me, there's so much here, and there's Dan Martin picking it up back up again.
Well, Dan Martin is still in there. Rigoberto Urán, I think I could see in the back of that group as well, but that, strangely, no Team Sky riders.
Wow, there we are. Well, they got found out yesterday, and maybe it's happened again today. The two principals, or the main hopes for BMC, are within this group. It's being led by Alberto Contador at the moment, with Quintana hot on his wheel. The Flamme Rouge beckons. So just a couple of turns to take for Thomas de Gendt. It's going to be a famous victory for him. There's no catching this man today. The great Belgian. That country has suffered so much of late. He's done a different kind of sufferance today, but he'll be dedicating this victory, you can be absolutely certain, to those fallen back home. Meanwhile, Nairo picks it up. Quintana goes with Contador on his tail, and that's Richie Porte trying to just make amends. Oh, look at this. There's a Viti from a little bit earlier on today that's just been caught, and this will help Quintana potentially. What will be the response of Contador?
Well, Contador is going to have to keep this going now. Well, both of them are really, because the distance, both Tejay van Garderen and Richie Porte. It looks like Tejay is the first man on the road there from BMC behind this duo of riders now.
So into the flaring light, and it's Quintana with Contador. They've got great respect for each other, and normally it's Contador that gets lent on. At a moment such as this, they're going to try the old 1-2, but Aviti's got nothing left. I don't think they're going to sail by him, and Contador has got an interest in keeping the cadence going right now. Aviti goes backwards, Contador and Quintana go forwards, and oh, look at the wreckage out here. There goes Aviti, almost tagged by the motorcycle, and Quintana picks it up. Said yesterday was a tough day, but he expected more of today. Contador said he's feeling very, very good and would invest something today, and so it has proven. Two men with the confidence to declare themselves in a good place, and they are right now as far as the title is concerned.
Well, these are the guys who are going to battle it out now. I think they've put a big enough gap between themselves and the BMC riders. As long as they don't stop here now and start playing cat and mouse and focusing on the stage win, this should be our two men for the general classification.
Well, some enthusiastic fans just blocking the road ever so slightly, but to no malintent. Meanwhile, out front, I think we're going to miss the finish of de Gendt unless we hook back there rather smartish, and here it is.
They've brought back a lot in the last kilometre.
They have, and to be honest, they're in the last K. He's in the last few hundred metres, takes the final turn, and Thomas de Gendt does his country proud. They have been wounded back home in Belgium, and this will be as but a sticking plaster upon that gaping wound. But nonetheless, it will bring some joy, and in fact remind us of our focus that sport is on occasions just so very, very important for the mood of an entire nation. And that, my friend, was a very, very fine piece of cycling. He's done a great job, and Quintana's dropped Contador. He's going for a fine advantage here, and it's going to be enough to take the leader's jersey for Quintana. But the victory goes to de Gendt. And I honestly can say this, I am so happy for him, and I'm absolutely delighted for the people of Belgium. Meanwhile, behind, Quintana just rolls back the very brave Peter Weening. Not even going to be a podium if Contador sees him as well. Quintana rolls in, and there's bonus seconds, and they're stacking up for this man. 10 seconds has gone to de Gendt of no consequence, almost 20 minutes down overall at the top of the day. But this is useful for Quintana. This is a big, big gap he's going to have at the end of the day, and just watch that clock roll. Here it is after nearly 5 hours in the saddle. Quintana is fresh, Quintana is dangerous, Quintana is the leader of this race, and Quintana deserves to be in that jersey at the end of this evening.
Well, Quintana had 19 seconds deficit to Dan Martin at the start of the day. Contador at 6. So he's going to get the jersey, but I don't think by an awful lot.
Well, this race is still very much alive. It's a great design that Catalunya have done for us. He takes the curve, comes in, will take the finish line right now. It's a nasty, spiteful little curve at the end of what has been a brutal day, and it'll be Contador that comes across the line next, and he'll gain those 4 seconds. No, absolutely not. Well, why
Richie.
not? Yeah, it's Richie Porte that's the defending champion, I was about to say, who's made this stick, and it's a race for the line because it's bonus seconds up for grabs. A sprint right at the very last. I think Richie may have just nicked it from Alberto there, so no bonus seconds for Alberto Contador. My goodness, what a day, and what a breakaway performance it has been by some as well.
Yeah, Peter Weening just coming in there with Tejay van Garderen, Ilnur, Zakarin, and then here comes Chris Froome with the Romain Bardet and Dan Martin.
It is Dan Martin. Chris Froome picking it up just ahead of Bardet and Dan Martin. His head goes down.
Hugh
And that's Carthy. It's my boy Hugh. Fantastic. I told you he's in the vanguard. And so it proves the young man is still doing it, and more or less on his own, we remind you. Ah, what a day. I think this is Aviti, and there is Oran alongside him. It's not Aviti, but that is Oran, Rigoberto Oran. Good to see him functioning well. Count all the big names that come across the line right now, and then remember that Hugh Carthy, the British youngster who rides for Kaya Rural, had the beating of them. Wow, what a day. It was always designed to be the big one, and so it has proven.
It certainly has proven. That was quite an exciting final couple of kilometres, and what a great stage by Thomas de Gendt. And I think we've got to take our hats off to Peter Weening as well. That was a gutsy ride that he put in. Probably went a bit too hard in the beginning of the climb, and had to pay for it towards the back end of it. But nevertheless, I've got to take my hat off to that one.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it today. It's been one heck of a race, and Thomas de Gendt does a Stelvio. Good man, good man.
De la Molina, arribada també per corredor eritreu Merhau Kudus. Aquí tenim Miguel Ángel López, l'home que ha intentat...
Nice for Belgium to have some other headlines for tomorrow.
Yeah, quite definitely so. And like I said, it was a gutsy ride by Thomas de Gendt and Peter Weening, but Thomas de Gendt rode that very intelligently on the final climb, and just managed to hold Peter Weening back and go for the win. And Richie Porte gets the... I think he gets the...
We're still waiting.
Well, yeah. I'll put that to Richie.
I think so too, but there was a lunge by Alberto, and dare I say it quietly, we are in Spain. Let's see. I'm sure nothing untoward. But here is our day's winner. What a fine win that was.
Congratulations on the win. How did you feel today in the stage 4? I didn't have a good feeling all day. On the climbs, I had a hard time, but then when Erviti went in the downhill, I wanted to anticipate on for the second climb, because I had a bad feeling. But then on the last climb, I kept the tempo, and then suddenly 2 kilometers to go, I saw Weening just in front of me. And then I had to go full. You already won a stage in Volta Catalunya in 2013. How important it is for you to win again?
That was my last victory. It's been 3 years since that victory, so this is good for me, and I'm happy with the chances I get in the team, and I want to thank them for that.
There we are. Gets his chances occasionally and is allowed to go for it. Today he was, and he took his chance absolutely beautifully. Nice guy, Thomas de Gendt.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's one of those guys that keeps on working hard all the time, and both in favour of the team and also for himself. When he's, like you said, he gets the opportunities to go out and do these breakaways, and he's very good at doing them as well. So nice to see him get another win here, and I'm sure that's going to do an awful lot of good for his confidence.
Just waiting to get confirmation, but we believe that Quintana is our race leader. Richie Porte just lunging at the line, but watch this. Watch the hands. More or less give you an indication. I still don't know who made it there. It was a late lunge by Alberto. Peter Weening, good enough for 4th place today, and that must hurt after all the effort he put in. Waiting for our official results. They usually give us them on a beauty static, which we've got right now. And a beauty motion, which you've got right now. And still we wait. I guess they're looking at the photo between Richie and Bertie.
Quite possibly. Quite possibly so.
Great day's racing. What have we got still to come? We've got Val's tomorrow. It's a rolling puncheurs stage, 2 category 2 climbs and a bit of a roller coaster entry into town. You might well get some quick men having some fun tomorrow. Likewise the day after to Le Geltrou, and then we finally finish with that brutal 8 laps in Barcelona. Thomas de Gendt takes the day, 1:08 clear of Nairo Quintana. Richie Porte it was that got the nod ahead of Alberto Contador. Tejay van Garderen in 5th place, and indeed 13 seconds down. Finishing also there, Dan Martin with the same time, but that time is 1:45. So yeah, 23 seconds. Gosh, it's close. It's very close. 1:08 though. I think Quintana is happy enough, but Richie Porte, Dan Martin's certainly still going to be up there as we go into some of the rolling stages, which might actually suit him very well.
They may very well do so, but I think over the next couple of days now, depending on who we actually get in the leader's jersey, there may be some very good opportunities for more breakaways, and certainly now that the time gaps have opened up even further on the general classification, tomorrow could be one of those days where a break goes early on in the morning and actually makes it all the way to the finish.
There we are. So they may well keep their powder dry, the big boys, until we get to Barcelona, and that it might.
To be fair, there are not that many big boys here.
But it could. Well, you mean stature-wise, but the greatest of names. It could come down to the wire. This race, couldn't it? Be decided on the final day.
I think the final day is going to be an interesting one, definitely. Certainly, if it's only within a couple of seconds, then we could have some very interesting racing.
So here is our new leader, Nairo Quintana. 1 Grand Tour win, Giro d'Italia. He has been extraordinarily consistent last year with his win in the Tirreno Adriatico, and of course twice second as he was runner-up in the Tour de France, where he started this season looking very, very comfortable and happy, and with a sense of surety about, certainty almost about his form. He's happy to say when he feels good, and that's really a rider who's got nothing to hide when he actually is. Couldn't get the win on the stage though, Quintana. That indeed went to this man, Thomas de Gendt. Still waiting for our overall classification and indeed our leader's jersey, but it will go to Nairo Quintana of Movistar.
Circuit Festival. Vine a pedalejar al circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. El 30 d'abril i 1 de maig, el Circuit Festival us porta curses de BTT Gran Fondo, 24 hores, Fronton i Copa Catalana. També hi haurà activitats per a nens, zona expo i mercat de segona mà. Una gran festa pels amants del ciclisme i per tota la família. Més informació i inscripcions a Circuit.
Here's your overall standings. Nairo Quintana leads this race by a margin of 8 seconds only over Alberto Contador. Richie Porte is 17 seconds down. Dan Martin still in the house. In with a chance with 24 seconds deficit. Tejay van Garderen 27. Bardet, Zakarin, Froome. Hugh Carthy is only 1:01 down. What great names surround him. King of the Mountains, Thomas de Gendt. Why wouldn't it be? Taking the Especials. So he's got a jersey. Not the leader's jersey, but the leader of the King of the Mountains. Stron still very much part of proceedings. De Gendt's got to pick himself up and go for it once more when it's a breakaway day. After today, he'll be exhausted, but he'll take that win most definitely. There's your intermediate sprints. Thomas de Gendt leads this as well, so he'll be lending that jersey to Cohen Bowman tomorrow. Wow, what racing we've had, and it's going to go on. This race always draws some big names. It's always entertaining. We've very much enjoyed ourselves today, Magnus, and there's no reason why we shouldn't for the rest of this one.
No, I think it's still far from over with only 8 seconds between the first two riders. There's going to be a few more battles to be had on this on the next couple of days.
3 more stages to come on this Volta Catalunya. We're going to be here, and we expect you to be as well. It's been a great day. 3 more fabulous ones to come, and I'll be bound our winner will only be found at the line in Well, it's a bit nippy, but the sun is up. I'm thinking beer and a chorizo. What do you think? Cerveza chorizo?
Yeah, that sort of thing.
It's hard to say cleanly.
It is.
Yeah. Or maybe a bowl of paella. I'm not quite sure. We'll let you know tomorrow. And it looks like we may have time to stay for the podiums, but they do generally take quite a long time. But anyway, we'll hang around. Don't forget, if you'd like to join the Twitter conversation and cheer some of the naysayers up, then please feel free to do so. It's at Carlton Kirby, CarltonKirby, or at Maggie_PR. And there's the motorcycle coming. Not a Harley Davidson, unfortunately, so the potato sound is not echoing down the valley. Well, we still wait for our podium, and in fact the fans here are doing a good job of actually staying in what little sunshine remains up at the top, even having trouble with the word sunshine. Haven't even had a cerveza yet. Anyway, thank you for your good general thoughts, which are nice to hear. Corbus Snyman, Gerald Dunn, Helveds, Who's Madness, of course. He always seems to be in the house over there in the United States. Nairo Quintana then is our leader. Bertie Contador 8 seconds down. Contador's got to believe he can win this, especially with the bonus seconds factored in.
Yeah, I think he's the kind of racer that will go out and hunt these seconds now. So it's going to be really interesting to watch the next couple of days.